Hi Lemon Tree, hello everybody, hello. It's today is Tuesday, actually Tuesday the 2nd of June. So sorry this your the weekly hello message is one day late, but I went into school yesterday and I looked after some year 3 and 4 children all day yesterday, so that was good. But welcome, it's June. I hope you all had a really good half term. And by now you might have had a look on Google Classrooms and see what there is. So I just wanted to say a quick hello and go through a few things. Got my list of things to talk about. I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to show you something and read you something, one of my favourite poems. And there's a reason for that. And then of course I'll play a song on here and see if anybody knows what that song is. And then I'm going to tell you about a challenge that I'm going to set myself, something I can't do using a football. So, okay, are you ready? So yeah, welcome. So this week, the big thing on Google Classrooms this week is Miss Willis has done some videos on how to do handwriting. So, because I know that's something which is quite hard to do at home. And so she's done some tutorial videos on how to do, this week it's the curly caterpillars. If you remember the curly caterpillars, like this, how to do a C, where to start when you're doing an A, and then things like a D. So far this week she's done, what has she done this week? She's done the C, the A and the O. She's going to do the D next, and then a G, and then a Q as well. But what she's done, which I thought was rather cool, is she's got some paper there that you can print out with lined paper to help you with the handwriting, just like we do at school in you know, our English books where we have the black lines and the red lines. Well, she's also done a video on how to do your own line paper, because I don't have any printer paper left here, or cartridge. So I followed her video and I made, as you can see here, so she explains how to do your own lines and with how to do your black lines. This is I had a plain sheet of paper, got myself a ruler, did some black lines, and then as you can see, every other line you make red. I made mine pink, doesn't matter. Because that helps you when you're following her tutorials on how to do the curly caterpillars, on where to start your letters. So it's all about where to start. You know, if you remember when we did it at school, we did handwriting, where to start, where on the black line or the red line. So follow that if you want to. That'd be really good. But you might need a grown-up's help to help you make some handwriting paper ready. Okay, so that's a big launch this week, handwriting. What was the other thing? Maths. Oh yeah. So Miss Willis again has done maths. So he starts off revising. What's that? Revising. It's revising multiplication. Then she turns into looking at division, and you're doing division, but she's doing division, it's splitting numbers. She set you a challenge on how you can group a number into equal groups, how you can use division to divide a number into equal groups, and it doesn't always work out equal. So she explains what to do when you can't do it equally. So watch that video for her, and there's she set your challenge on there actually, and how you can divide bigger numbers. And then phonics. So phonics, there's 2 things this week in phonics, not 4, 2. 2 things. One is how to spell tricky words, like high frequency words, and I've done a tutorial for that. But then I've also done a video where you can do a game outside. It's called a code breaker game that a child, I've forgotten her name, in Lotus Flower came up with the game before half term. Told Miss Willis it was a game that she played outside with her mum and dad and brother. It's like a guessing a word game. She wrote down a word using symbols and shapes, and they had to guess the word. So I thought we could use that idea to help us with our spellings. So there are just like 8 or 10 high frequency words we need to learn. We can't use our phonics for them. So I thought this code game, but I'm quite proud of the video. So if you watch the code breaker video, tell me what you think. Okay, so that's that. And then what else are we going to say? Writing. Oh yes, writing. So Miss French has looked at the book. It's a Julia Donaldson book, which you may have heard of. It's called Jack and the Flum Tree, written by Julia Donaldson. But it's all about rhyme. It's all about rhyme and rhythm, because we haven't really done an awful lot of poetry this year. One thing we normally like to do poetry in the summer term, So it's a shame we're not at school doing that together, because I have all my poetry books, all my Michael Rosen poetry books, and other ones are all at school. So I love reading poetry to you. So, but have a look at the writing section on Google Classrooms, and there's the video of somebody else reading. I forget what it's called, Jack and the Flum Tree, and on it the character Jack goes on an expedition, and you'll find out why if you read the story or have the story or you hear the story. He goes on an expedition, and it kind of repeats itself. And so what Miss French has asked you to do is you've come up with your own version of that story, your own expedition, but keeping the rhythm of the story and using rhyme. So that's that, and that got me thinking. So those are the main things on Google Classroom. But it also got me thinking, if we were at school and I would go down by my book box down here, and I would pick out one of my favourite poetry books. And one of my favourite poets is a man who used to be a comedian, so your grown-ups might know him, they might not know him, his name was called Spike Milligan. And he used to do children's poetry as well. It's not very well known. And I've got a whole book at school of an anthology of his poems. But I just looked one up online, and here is one of my favourite Spike Milligan poems. It's really short, but really silly. So most of his poems are silly. They rhyme, but they're silly. So if I can look at here. So what I've done, I found it online, and I drew the picture, because it's called The Lion. I drew a lion, and then I wrote it out. So I'm quickly going to read it to you if I can. So here's a lion there. So The Lion by Spike Milligan. A lion is fierce, his teeth can pierce the skin of a postman's knee. It serves him right that because of his bite, he gets no letters, you see. And that's Spike Milligan. Silly, like I told you. Okay. So I have another Spike Milligan poem I wanted to read you some other time. Okay. So that's all lovely things you can have a look at this week, and you could extend that, could you? So you can come up with your own silly poems as well. That would be, as long as you've got rhythm and rhyme in there, following the Flum Tree idea. That'd be amazing. I would love to see those. So I've got a song to play you here, not singing you. Song to play you, and then you need to see if you know what film this is from. So far I've done Star Wars, played Harry Potter. Oh, what else? What are the films that we do? I can't remember. But Pink Panther, that was it. This is from. You can probably read that if you get closer, couldn't you? But it's from a film. So what film is this from? I think you all know it. So if you do, add it in the comments. Okay. So it's quite hard to play. So this is my version of it. So that's how. Can you see? Maybe turn around there. Can you? There you go. Yeah, you don't read. Okay. There we go. We'll go. Okay. So if you know what that song is from, pop it on the comments field. and give me an idea. I like that idea of doing a challenge for me to try and find a song from a film, because that's right. So we had the Sound of Music so far, didn't we? With my favourite things, had the Pink Panther theme from the Pink Panther film. We had the Harry Potter theme from Harry Potter. Had Star Wars theme from the Star Wars, and that is from. Okay, so the last thing we'll tell you about is a challenge. Now, I remember when I was in school looking after some key worker children a couple of weeks ago, I think it was a week before half term, I was with Bill from Lemon Tree, and he was telling me about a trick called the Maradona 7. The Maradona 7. Maradona was a famous Argentinian striker, and he was very skillful with the ball. And there's a trick called Maradona 7, which you can look it up. I'm not going to do it here because I'm inside. But I'm going to have a go practicing, see how far I can get. Now, at the moment, I'm on number 3. What you have to do is hit it with your feet, one foot, the other foot, that's 2. Hit it with your knee, keep it with your knee, your other knee, then your shoulder, that's 6, and then your head, that's 7. So you have to kind of keep the ball up with your one foot, other foot, that's 2, your knee, your shoulder, that's 6, and then your head, that's 7. It's really hard. So I'm going to challenge myself, because the weather's so good, I can go out now, do that lots. Okay, thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you have good fun, and I look forward to seeing a lot of things you're going to do this week. And also I look forward to calling you on Thursday at 12 o'clock lunchtime for our weekly Zoom call. Okay, bye everybody, bye.